Your Name is my favorite movie of all time. Not my favorite anime movie, literally my favorite movie. I just want to get that out of the way early here so you all know exactly the mindset I had walking into the theater to see Weathering with You. There was no way in a million years I was ever going to miss seeing Makoto Shinkai's next release the second it hit American theaters. And Weathering with You arrives with a lot of hype, rightfully so. Your Name was a mega ultra super saiyan blue international hit, and the follow-up would be pressed to deliver. And boy did it deliver. The visuals are breathtaking, and on par or even surpass Your Name at times. They had to hand draw 2 hours of rain, that's insanity. Radawimps were literally the first people to read the script when it was finished and wrote the music for the film from the script, and the scenes were then animated together to fit the songs. Also, like any good Shinkai movie, oh man, it makes you feel things. But most importantly, it's not Your Name 2. I'll cut to the chase here and say that standalone, I still like Your Name better. But Weathering with You is fantastic in its own right, and a lot of that has to do with the plot and themes. Because of that, when you put these two movies together, it creates an absolutely fascinating duality. From here on, I unfortunately need to touch on spoilers, whether it's themes or allusions to events, so if you haven't seen either of these movies, they're both unbelievable and please watch them blind. Okay, here is why I love this movie. Your Name and Weathering with You both have very similar plot structures. Obviously the nature of the supernatural is different, but I think if you've seen both, you understand what I mean. Their main difference, and what makes them so fun as a pair, is the contrasting theme of love. In Your Name, love is used to save. A major theme of that movie is how it's strong enough to even transcend time. It's a movie about soulmates. Taki follows his love, and that choice is also able to save thousands of lives. In Weathering with You, love destroys and twists, to put it bluntly. Hodoka does some pretty bad stuff out of his desperation and guilt spawned by his love for Hina, and then the two of them choose love over a city whose current population is 9.27 million. And it's clear by the end of the movie that they don't really regret it, or at least they've come to terms with it. This is why the climax of the movie feels so oddly unique, as breathtaking as it is. It's romantic and loving, but as it's happening, you have this backdrop of the consequences in your mind. Now that I've had time to wrap my head around it, it's actually brilliant storytelling. They're similar movies with vastly different messages, so when you play them against each other like this, it only further elevates the films. I initially felt like the shadow of Your Name was bringing down my enjoyment of Weathering with You, but after some thought, it actually makes it even better. And to clarify, I really liked this movie already. I also think it's important to point out that Weathering with You never depicts this version of love as wrong or evil, simply different and maybe selfish. And I mean, I want you more than a blue sky is possibly the most romantic phrase I've ever heard, so take that as you will. But these movies are different. Very different, in fact, even if parts look and feel very similar. Your Name wound up being an extremely character-driven story, while Weathering with You rides high off of its themes more than really its characters. It was able to build off its predecessor and provide us a unique, compelling story. Now, in the coming weeks or months, I'm sure people smarter than me will break this movie down and provide sparkling analysis of its many deeper themes. From climate change to love to the fact that Hodoka is reading The Catcher in the Rye at the beginning of the movie to anything else. And I suppose I threw my hat into that ring a bit here, but I just really love Shinkai's work, and I'm really just here to try and explain why I love this stuff as much as I do. It just turned out that this time around it took a little bit more thinking than yelling about Trigger. Your Name is just so near and dear to my heart in so many ways. And ultimately, Weathering with You isn't Your Name. And that's what makes it brilliant.